Most people think build a 300cc bike is cheap. But by the time I finished upgrading this Honda CRF300L, I could have bought a bigger bike. And today I'm breaking down the real cost, every upgrade, every part, and whether it was actually worth it. Because this wasn't a random build. From the moment I bought the CRF, my goal was clear: build a lightweight, intentional adventure bike. So, let's talk about numbers. When I bought this CRF300L, I didn't buy it to leave it stock. I bought it because it's light, simple, and the perfect base for an adventure build. From day one, I had a clear plan. Build it for how I ride, not how the brochure describes it. And that plan have a price. Before we talk about money, let's talk about why this bike. I have ridden bigger bikes like KTM 950 Adventure, T7, and I wanted something lighter. More control in sand, less fatigue in technical terrain, something I can pick up alone without thinking twice. The CRF300L isn't powerful, but it's predictable, and that's exactly what I wanted. First category, protection. Because off-road riding guarantees one thing: the bike will hit the ground. So I focused heavily on protection. Some people see this as unnecessary. I see it as insurance. One rock through radiator, one cracked engine case, one broken headlight, and suddenly the cheap 300 isn't cheap anymore. For me it was non-negotiable. Protection isn't just armor, it's also control. I upgraded the foot pegs, brake pedal, gear shifter and levers. These are the parts that bend first when the bike falls. And when you ride standing for hours, they define how the bike feels. In off-road riding, control matters more than power. Now, drivetrain. I didn't change the chain and sprockets for performance. The original chain didn't last very long, so I replaced it with a stronger aftermarket chain and more durable sprockets. This wasn't about speed, it was about reliability. You don't notice a good chain, you only notice it when it fails. This is where things get interesting. Instead of chasing the exhaust for sound, I focused on how the engine actually runs. I upgraded the ECU with a 550 performance tune, and I modified the airbox with the 550 performance kit. This improved throttle response, smoother power delivery and overall rideability. The bike feels more alive, but still controlled. No loud exhaust, no unnecessary attention, just better riding. And now let's talk about the exhaust. A lot of people immediately change the exhaust on this bike. More sound, less weight, more feel. But I actually decided not to go that route. I wanted to keep the bike quiet. When you travel long distance, when you ride through small village, when you cross borders, noise matters. I didn't want attention. I didn't want fatigue from constant loud sound. And honestly, I prefer riding quiet. So I stayed with the stock exhaust. Instead of chasing sound, I focused on rideability. And actually, I made a separate video explaining that whole decision. Now, performance upgrades. Suspension was the biggest one. Stock suspension works for light riding. But with the luggage and real off-road terrain, you feel its limits. After upgrading, the bike felt planted, more stable, less tiring. This is where the bike stopped feeling budget. and started feeling purpose-built. For real adventure travel, range matters. That's why I upgraded to a larger fuel tank. Stock range is fine for daily riding, but in remote areas, range equals freedom. Running out of fuel is not an adventure. For adventure riding, I added a rear rack, luggage, mounting system, navigation setup. This part adds up quickly, but without it, it's not an adventure bike. It's just a dirt bike. I also installed a tail tidy. Nothing performance related, it just cleans up the rear end of the bike and makes it look more compact. Not essential, but I like the cleaner look. Comfort matters more than horsepower. Handlebar risers, heated grips, mirrors. Heated grips, especially if you ride in a colder weather, that changes everything. Small upgrades, huge difference over long days. So, let's add everything up. Bike, protection and control, drivetrain, ECU and airbox, suspension, fuel tank, travel setup, and comfort. Total investment. For that money, I could have bought a bigger bike. But a bigger bike wouldn't give me what I wanted. Less weight, more control, more confidence riding solo. This bike isn't cheap anymore. It's built exactly how I ride. Would you build a lightweight 300 or go bigger?